Hello students, welcome to NCERT Class 7 SS1 History. In this section, we are going to discuss theory only. The chapters that we are going to cover are Introduction, Tracing Changes Through 1000 Years, Kings and Kingdoms, Delhi, 12th to 15th century, the Mughals, 16th to 17th century, tribes, nomads and settled communities, devotional paths to the divine, the making of regional cultures, 18th century political formations. Let's go through Chapter 1, Introduction, Tracing Changes Through 1000 Years. Let's go through the new and old terminologies. Language and meanings evolve over time due to changes in the context. Historical records exist in various languages that have changed significantly. For example, medieval Persian differs from modern Persian in grammar, vocabulary and meanings. Again, the term Hindustan has evolved in meaning over centuries. In the 13th century, it referred to regions like Punjab, Haryana and areas between Ganga and Yamuna rivers under the Delhi Sultanate. In the early 16th century, Babur used it to describe the subcontinent's geography, fauna and culture. Historians need to be cautious in terminology as meanings change. For example, in medieval times, a foreigner meant any outsider, not just someone non-Indian. In Hindi, Pardesi and in Persian, Ajnabi might be used to describe such individuals. Peasants in the same village were not considered foreigners to each other despite differences in religions or caste. Historians and their sources. Historians utilize various sources to study different historical periods. For the periods from roughly 700 to 1750, sources include coins, inscriptions, architecture and textual records. During this period, the number and variety of textual records increased significantly. Paper became cheaper and more accessible, leading to the writing of holy texts, rulers' chronicles, letters, teaching of saints, petitions, judicial records, and register of accounts and taxes. Manuscripts were collected and stored in libraries and archives by wealthy individuals, rulers, monasteries, and temples. Manuscripts and documents provide detailed information but are challenging to use due to copyright errors. Manuscripts were copied by hand, leading to small but significant differences in versions over time. Historians must rely on copies made by later scribes as original manuscripts are rare. Authors sometimes revise their works, leading to different versions. Example, Ziauddin Barani wrote two versions of his chronicle in the 14th century, with historians discovering the earlier version much later. New period from 700 to 1750 saw significant developments in technology, crops and mobility. Technologies like the Persian wheel, spinning wheel and firearms emerged along with new foods like potatoes, corn, chili, tea and coffee. Economic, political, social and cultural changes occurred due to these innovations and the movement of people. The Rajputs, initially sons of rulers, evolved into a group of warriors serving in armies across the subcontinent, known for their chivalric code of conduct. Other groups like Maratha, Sikhs, Jats, Ahoms, and Kayasthas also rose to political prominence during this period. Forest clearing and agricultural expansion led to migration and the emergence of peasant communities influenced by regional market and religious institutions. Peasants became part of complex societies differentiated by economic and social status. Social hierarchy emerged based on jatis, with ranks varying according to power, influence, and resources. Jatis enforced their own rules through assemblies of elders but were also subject to village regulations and governance by chieftains. Region and empire. Large states like Cholas, Tughlaqs, and Mughals ruled over vast regions. Claims of conquest, such as those by Delhi Sultan Ghiyasuddin Balban, often exaggerated. Despite claims, regions maintained distinct geographical, linguistic, and cultural identities. Conflict between regional states was common, but some dynasties managed to establish pan-regional empires. The decline of the Mughal Empire in the 18th century led to the resurgence of regional states. However, the influence of imperial rule left lasting legacies shaping governance, economy, culture, and language. Over the period from 700 to 1750, regions experienced both integration into larger empires and the preservation of their distinct identities. Old and new religions. Over the thousand years explored, significant developments occurred in religious traditions. Belief in the divine was often collective and intertwined with social and economic organization. Hinduism underwent changes, including the worship of new deities, temple construction by royalty, and the growing influence of Brahmanas or priests in the society. The Brahmanas' knowledge of Sanskrit texts earned them social respect, and their dominance was supported by patrons seeking prestige. New religions like Islam appeared in the subcontinent, introduced by merchants and migrants in the 7th century. Islam's followers interpret its teachings in various ways, with different sects such as Shia and Sunni, each with distinct beliefs regarding leadership and theology. Rulers often patronized Islam and its scholars, ulama, contributing to the religion's spread and interpretation. Differences existed between various Islamic schools of law and theological and mystical traditions. Thinking about time and historical periods. Historians view time not just as a passage of hours or years, but as reflecting changes in social, economic, and cultural organization. The past is divided into periods or segments with shared characteristics to facilitate study. In the 19th century, British historians categorized Indian history into Hindu, Muslim, and British periods, solely based on the religion of rulers, ignoring other significant developments. Most historians today reject the simplistic periodization, focusing instead on economic and social factors to characterize different historical moments. The medieval period, which we will study this year, witnessed the spread of peasant societies, the rise of regional and imperial states, the development of Hinduism and Islam, and the arrival of European trading companies. Describing the entire period as one unit can be problematic due to considerable changes over the thousand years. The medieval period is sometimes contrasted with the modern period, which implies material progress and intellectual advancement, but this oversimplifies historical reality. Indian societies underwent significant transformation during this period, attracting European trading companies due to economic prosperity.